Before I begin my talk, I want to acknowledge Florida, the mass shooting, and 50 people dead and over 30 people injured. And I just want us to be mindful. Everything that we experience is either a expression of love or a call for love. And this truly is a call for love. And in our philosophy, if we see the face of God in every person, that includes the shooter. And so in your prayers, when we're praying for the victims of the mass shooting, also pray for that shooter. Because we know that prayer can shift things. And so I just wanted us to be conscious of that today. So the spiritual principle that I am working with today is one of my favorite. And it is as within, so without. As within, so without. My outside world really is an exact reflection of my inner world. I don't care how you slice it, dice it, doesn't matter, but if there's something showing up in your experience, might be time for a little check-in. And so if this is true, then I need to look at myself and my environment. So, do I like my friends? Do I like my job? Am I happy in my relationship? And am I really happy in life? And if not, it all starts and stops right here. Now, it's not rocket science, but it's not so simple sometimes, right? Especially when you're emotionally attached to the outcome or the situation, and especially when it involves things like friends and family. Yeah, we kind of can forget the spiritual truths when it comes to that. So here's a nice reminder, is that we can shift our outer world by first shifting our inner world. The universe and my surroundings actually respond to me. So whatever I'm thinking shows up in my life. So whenever it is present in my life and how I feel, I understand that this thing called life shows up as me. Shows up as me on the planet. So how I feel is reflected back to me in my reality. I am manifesting my life based on my feelings. Feelings charge up your reality. Because I always look at our experiences as being benign until we attach our lovely life filters over them. And then it gets emotionally charged at that point. So just with that understanding, we know that we can shift our consciousness. So just being mindful of it. It is a spiritual practice. It is a tool that you can use. So if a thought's not working for you, stop and replace it with another thought. What a concept, huh? So if I'm angry on the inside, I may find myself around angry people. Angry people may show up in my life. And the angrier I am, the more I'm going to attract those types of people. Like attracts like. And don't think that if you're just being angry in your mind, that it's not going to manifest those folks around you. Because guess what? If you're thinking it and not saying it, it's still going to show up. It's still going to show up. Those feelings of I'm not loved, those feelings of abandonment, all of those things attract more of it. So if I know this basic principle, why not replace that with something that's going to give me more bang for my buck? All right? So if I'm thinking about these sad things, and I know that more sad things may manifest, then why not think about some happy things? Joy and love and happiness. Right in the middle of those situations. I have found myself in the middle of chaos. And instead of feeding into the environment, what I have learned, instead of looking outward, is I look inward. And I take a breath and reflect for a moment. is this really about me? Or is this about something else? You see? And so that little check-in definitely helps. I know that when you have thoughts that you're talking about being self-critical, that self-talk, that monkey chatter, we are so hard on ourselves. You know, you always mess that up. You know what? You're not good enough at this. You know, the last time you did that, that's those sabotaging thoughts that come from this deepness, from the core of who we are, from our experiences. And they show up at strange times. You know, you're like, where is that coming from? And I just say it's a moment to reflect. Something is percolating up that needs healing. And what a blessing. I bless it no matter how it shows up. And so the universe always gives us what we need, more than enough. And so when you begin to apply spiritual principle to your life, then you begin to understand that you really are in control. You really are in control. You and God in partnership, co-creating your world. So if it's not working for you, do something different. Do something different, you know? And you don't have to wait for someone else. You know if it's not working. That's the important piece. You know if it's not working. So if I want to feel loved, safe, and secure and happy on the inside, then I will have to be safe, secure, and happy in my thinking. And so what happens with the law of attraction, we are going to begin to attract more of it, more love, more joy. You know, my prayers have changed over the years. You know how you pray for things and you pray for outcomes. I have just learned how to embrace spirit in everything. You know, I wake up and my prayer is basic as I want to express more joy in the world today. I want to be open to what Spirit has in store for me today. What's my highest and best? What does that look like? Because every single time I pray for things, Spirit always has a sense of humor. It's always something bigger and better and more expansive than I could ever think of. And so I trust my internal guidance system. That system that has never steered me wrong, that is always there. I call my spiritual practices, I say it's my ATM process. I'm going to affirm it, I'm going to treat, and I'm going to meditate. And sometimes I need to take a withdrawal, right? So making deposits is filling yourself up, reading, contemplating, those things, you know, keep you on full. And then when you have those deficits, you go there and you take a withdrawal. Spiritual practices will help get you back on track. See, the whole thing about prayer is your request to the universe. This is what I want. The how part of it is God's business, okay? And then you got to have the meditation part too, because you need to be in that quiet space to receive your download. What does that look like for you? And we have to be still in order to get that message. And so whatever your meditation looks like, it's perfectly fine. Walking meditation, movement meditation, reading something and contemplating, it doesn't matter. But what are your spiritual practices? So if the thinking is going on and you're not happy with it, go back to your spiritual practices. What are you doing to keep yourself balanced? Every single time I find myself off balance and I do my little check-in, either I didn't pray or I didn't meditate before I began my day. And there's something about starting your day with that freshness. Because you're letting go of a day before and you're starting with this clean blank canvas and you're allowing the universe to co-create with you that day without bringing your baggage. I was talking to someone earlier about baggage. How many of us drag stuff around in our bags, right? Can you just imagine I'm dragging my stuff everywhere I go? That's just way too much stuff. There's way too much stuff. What can I let go of that's going to lighten my load? Your day is full of stuff. People will give you stuff. The world will give you stuff. Why do you have to give yourself stuff? Really? But we do it all the time. We do it all the time. So I have this check-in process that I do. And I simply put my hand over my heart and I ask myself, okay, what's going on, Tynya? What's blocking your blessing at this very moment? What's coming up for you? What do you need at this moment? Because when you get those feelings of being angst, that's your internal guidance system telling you, check in, something's going on. I know that in Abraham Hicks, when they talk about with feelings, is that when you hit a feeling and you feel like you're going upstream, you're not in alignment. You're not in alignment. So something simple as feeling that, because really this whole thing being connected with spirit is about going downstream with everything that you need with ease and with grace. It's not hard. But when you push up against resistance, that's a call for something. Healing, love, doesn't matter. But something is coming up for you. So I'd like to read a piece in Ernest Holmes. I love this little book. I'm teaching a class right now, and it's called This Thing Called You. And if you haven't read it, I think it is a must-read for life. For life. And I've read it many, many, many times. And the piece that I'm going to share with you is about our thinking. The barriers between you and your greater good are not buried in themselves. These things of thought are buried within the depths of your mind. Jesus surrounded us with the whole proposition when he says, it is done unto you as you believe. And interpreting this, how you think and what you believe will manifest in your life. It responds, the mind does, after your emotional thoughts and what you believe. So really, when you're talking about what's manifesting in your life, it goes back to desire. What is it that you desire for your life? What is it that you want to manifest in your life? And it is as simple as putting that thought out to the universe. I want to share a story with you, and I love this piece. I heard about it last year, and it talks about our thinking. Now, you may have heard of stinking thinking, right? Okay. Thinking's not working. We need to do something different. And so this piece talks about the characteristics that we take on with our thinking. The first one is, am I a canal? A canal is a human-made channel for water. A canal is a channel which things flow. The function of a canal is to channel water from one location to another. Canals are temporary waterways that allow water to flow in and out in an orderly way. Now, there are times in my life that I know that I'm a canal. I am connecting and linking people, the flow of information from one place to another. And for us beings, the canal is a network in which all things flow. The communication process is there. A canal can flow positive connections, but a canal can also flow gossip and negative truths. It can also, with that, reinforce lack and limitation. And so the peddler of gossip is also a canal. So what things are you flowing through your world? What things are you connecting with your circle? The other one, am I a reservoir? A reservoir is a container that holds water. The function of the reservoir is to hold water until the supply is needed. A reservoir has an inlet and an outlet. And as a reservoir, I am a resource which may be drawn upon so that I can share information with others as well as myself. So what things am I holding in my reservoir? Do these things benefit me or the world? In my reservoir, are there past hurts, feelings of coming up short or missing the mark? My reservoir always holds all of my amazing God-given gifts. That's my well. And these gifts can be overshadowed by the consciousness of stuff not working in my life sometimes. And if I am a reservoir, what things am I holding on to in this deep well? What things am I sharing with others and the world? And do I have a way of making sure my inlet and my outlet is in good working order? Or my favorite one, am I a swamp? A swamp differs from a reservoir and a canal. A swamp has an inlet, but it has no outlet. Water flows into the swamp, but not out of it. The result of the water, it rots, and many living things die there. So there is a strange and death-like order that permeates the atmosphere if you've ever been to a swamp. And in that smell of decay. So what about you? What in your life may be stale that's not working for you right now? Is it the thinking, or is it something else? Is it something that you're holding on to? Past regrets. Things that didn't work out for me. I'm always reaching for those things that I'm grateful for. When I hit that thing that's not working, I move into gratitude. I'm grateful for this information because it's allowing me to move and do something different. Spiritual principle is always at work. Am I hanging on to things that are no longer serving me? Am I refusing to let go? And if so, what in your life needs to change? Because only you can change it. It's really up to you. So am I a reservoir? Am I a canal? Or am I a swamp? Okay? And I keep telling myself these spiritual truths to keep myself on track because life has a way of knocking us off the path. But if you're grounded in your spiritual practices and spiritual truth, there's not any situation that you can't work yourself out of. No life situation, anything that is thrown at you, you are able to process it utilizing spiritual truth. And your practices just reinforce what you believe. Remember, it goes back to your thinking. I love the piece, and you've probably all heard it, by Marianne Williams, the piece that she had in her book called The Return to Love. It says our deepest fear is not that we're inadequate. Our deepest fear is that we are powerful beyond measure. It is our light, not our darkness, that most frightens us. My playing small does not serve the world. There's nothing enlightened about shrinking so that other people won't feel insecure around me. As we let our own light shine, we consciously give others permission to do the same. And as we liberate from our fears, our presence automatically liberates others. I love that piece because we don't realize how powerful we are. And maybe it's not you, maybe it's someone around you. But sharing the truth, the spiritual truth of who they are can be simple enough to shift them and start them on their path. So with this philosophy, we have a gift. We have a gift. And we have a responsibility, right? So if things are showing up in our life that are uncomfortable or not working for us, then it is our responsibility to change them. Not my neighbors, not my spouse, not my family, not my friends. It's my responsibility. So if I want to see that change, I know that it starts and stops right here. So let's take this message into prayer, knowing that at this very moment we are connected to the mind and the heart of God. I know for each person present and on the planet that there is no separation and no disconnection, and that there is only one of us. As within and so without, and as above and so below, my outer world is a reflection of my inner world. And if I don't like what's going on, I can simply change it by putting a new thought in. Changing my thought is my divine birthright, and I'm so grateful for this truth. I'm so grateful for this wisdom. And I just simply let it be because I know that all is well. And I let it go. And I release it into the perfect activity of love and law, knowing that all is well. And so it is. So let's repeat our affirmation together. It is, my outside world is a reflection of my inner world. My outside world is a reflection of my inner world. One more time. My outside world is a reflection of my inner world. And I guarantee you, you start your day with that affirmation, it'll kickstart it for you. So thank you.